Yield back.
Thank you again for your courtesy, Senator Marshall, and thank you, Senator Luján, for your courtesy to your colleague. You are recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Director, the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. This program was created to provide compensation and justice to those Americans who suffer devastating health impacts of nuclear weapon development and testing. Despite being created 34 years ago, people in states like New Mexico, which is where the first nuclear bomb was tested, without warning to people in these communities, were left out of the program. Even the author of this legislation, may he rest in peace, the former senator from Utah, Orrin Hatch, he referenced this before he passed away about mistakes that were made in this legislation and how New Mexico is one of those mistakes not being included, not including post-1971 workers, which are uranium mine workers that worked in the mines after 1971, side by side with people that qualify for the program, doing the same jobs. These Americans, many of whom were the unwilling and unknowing victims of radiation exposure, have waited too long for justice. The Senate has now passed my bill to strengthen RECA with Senator Crapo and Senator Hawley twice, but we have yet to get a full analysis of the impact of the program. Meanwhile, the House has refused to act. As a result, the clock ticks on and Americans continue to wait. Those from New Mexico to Utah to Idaho and many other states have fought cancer. Too many have died and even watched family die alone, being ignored, all without recognition from the government that made them sick. Now, Dr. Swagel, as you work to get that full score, I would like you or your analysts, and preferably all of us, to get together in a room to meet with me and my staff and walk me through the state-by-state breakdown of who would benefit from this improved RECA program. Will you commit to securing that meeting?
Yes, sir. It's because of the path that the legislation took to the Senate floor. As you said, you didn't get a full cost estimate from CBO. We've given some rough guidance on the cost, but you have my commitment that we'll come to you and take you through the estimate. You know, a challenge for us is the state-by-state part, just because we're set up to do federal costs. And so instead of just analyzing one state at a time is a challenge, but we will come and do as much as we can to make sure you get the information you need.
Have you done state-by-state analysis before?
You know, not of the RECA program. We have of some programs, but not of this one.
Dr. Swagel, have you conducted analysis for Wyoming?
I'm sorry, say again?
The state of Wyoming, as it pertains to RECA?
Oh, no, we haven't.
Yes, the CBO has. And have you done it for New Mexico?
Not separately.
So I've been told, because the mistake that was made by CBO with the initial scoring, I wasn't planning on getting into this, but if there's gonna be something included in the record as to what the capabilities are or are not, Wyoming and New Mexico had to be reviewed because there was a mistake of including analysis of Wyoming when Wyoming was not included in the original bill and New Mexico was. And so CBO had to look at that initially, from its initial score to where we are. The score the CBO came out with the initial draft was $160 billion, $150 billion. This program was started back in 1990. It's cost us a lot of money, $2.2 billion. It's hard for me to understand without seeing disaggregated data how the program grows exponentially from 2.2 over a 30-year period to 75% higher. So I think it's important for us to get there. I think the other offices would also be very interested in presenting the facts to the Congress, to my colleagues, to the American people about what this is and what this is not. I very much appreciate what the ranking member shared about Tip O'Neill and President Reagan. That was a time when people in this town could still stipulate the facts. And then they would negotiate, but they could stipulate to facts what the receipts were. And I just want to make sure that we have the correct receipts in this place so that we can have an honest conversation about the policy and get help to a whole bunch of people across America who this country owes a liability to, owes an apology to, and quite honestly, cost them their lives in many instances and the cancer that they're still going through today. So I very much look forward to that. And Mr. Chairman, I have other questions. I'm going to submit them into the record to be respectful of my colleagues today as well, but very much appreciate the agreement to be able to secure a meeting and have a thorough conversation about this package, this legislation for myself, and there may be other offices that want to be included. So thank you.
Thanks, Senator Luján, and if we can help facilitate that meeting, don't hesitate to ask. Senator Braun.